What is going on, my friends, and welcome back to another video here on the channel. Now, I wanted to make a quick video and let you know about some of the other DCAs that I've done over the last day or so, because I actually did pick up about 8 to 10 different cryptos, as I thought it was just a decent time. You know, they were part of my portfolio. I haven't really been focused on them recently, but they do seem as if they are trying to bottom out rather soon here. Maybe they've been underperforming a little bit over the last, couple weeks, couple months, and so I thought that it would be a decent time to pick them up. And so with that said, let me just kind of go over the ones that I've been buying. And of course, guys, don't forget, you can also always see what I am buying over on my Twitter. I do post on there a good bit, letting you know some of the things that I pick up. Now, looking at the charts for the day, I picked up, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different cryptos on here, and then one other one, so 9 total. Now, starting off, what we can see here is that I did actually pick up a little bit of Ethereum. Now, the reason being is because Ethereum has been getting severely outperformed recently, and the whales have been somewhat selling it off. You know, they've not been inflowing it like they were earlier this year, but in the grand scheme of things, Ethereum has performed exceptionally well. At the end of the day, it has still broken the 618 to 786 box, and although it's ventured back into it now, the door for Ethereum is now open now that this zone has been broken. You know, now that it did clear the 786 level, the door is now open for a move up to $7.7 thousand. Now, no, I don't think that it's going to be immediate, and I don't think that it's going to maybe even be this year, but I do think that it is going to happen at some given point now that we have opened this door. And so in moments like this, when we are seeing a little bit more of a macro pullback in which ETH really hasn't been able to get a bounce yet, I think it's just a matter of time before it has its own little moment here. We do see ETH try to take some type of bounce. Now, when does that happen? I honestly have no idea. It could continue as low as, $2,165 before that happens, or it can happen sometime right now. I genuinely have no idea, and I don't study Ethereum every single day to have a good answer for when this would normally happen for ETH. What I do know is that it is trying to find some support on top of this previous point of resistance here, a level in which we have interacted with in the past as well. And so maybe it does build up a bottom right here and look for a continuation. There's really no way of knowing. But what I do know is that I think that now that we have seen ETH kind of consistently go down this downtrend, I mean, this has been somewhat negative for roughly 2 months, 63 days, roughly, down around 27%. I've never seen Ethereum go down over 20 to 30% over the course of a couple months and not see a strong rebound afterwards. And so because of that, I did pick up a little bit of ETH today. This was a medium-sized purchase. Now, moving forward, this is also in no particular order, just kind of the order here on my chart. Going forward, I actually did pick up a little bit of Link. Now, I only bought a little tiny bit of Link. I did not buy a lot. And the reason being is because Link is still balancing right now. Okay, so what you can see is that Link had this insane sideways channel. I mean, this thing literally went sideways the entire bear market, right? Basically the entire bear market. And it did get this breakout here. But what happened is obviously it was unable to sustain this breakout, and now it is somewhat leaning back towards the downside. Now, it is under my belief that we could see Link see a fall back towards this $9.60 level. It's not guaranteed, but it is definitely possible, especially if we do continue to lose the support in which we have been trying to build right around this level. If this level is lost, I think that, we've had little liquidity, very little liquidity here. We could see Link fall another quick, what could that possibly be? About 26, maybe 25% to the downside, and then look to build up some support on top of this channel, on top of this sideways consolidationary zone in which we were in. And so because of that, at that point, that's when I would be looking to buy a lot more. But obviously there are no guarantees. Link has kind of just slowed down a bit. It's been going somewhat sideways. It's trying to build support in this little area. So because of that, I bought a tiny amount, but not a lot, because again, this does start to look a little possible head and shoulders-y. We are sitting really close to this channel, so it could pull back towards this level. So because of that, I'm not buying a lot, but I did buy a little bit just because it has been a while since I bought some, and we are getting towards the bottom side of whatever little downside move that Link is making, at least in my opinion. The next one that I did pick up on was some Litecoin. I did think that this was going to be a beautiful time to buy. The reason being, quite simply, is because of what we are seeing here for Litecoin, okay? You can see here that it seems to me as if Litecoin is still putting in this bottoming in structure, okay? You can see that Litecoin, of course, saw this beautiful move to the downside, found itself some resistance, and put in what we like to call the MLR, the mid-level resistance. Now, off of this MLR, we saw Litecoin's price bounce all the way back to the downside, find some support on the 618 to 786 zone before returning back up to this MLR. Now, that does give us a confirmed cup and handle pattern. And so in my opinion, it does seem extremely likely that we are going to see that Litecoin will break this cup and handle at some given point. It might take a while, right? We might come back down and put in a double bottom on the cup and handle. So we might go cup, double bottom, handle. That is very possible. We might see it come back down all the way to these levels. That's not the point. The point here is that now I think we are finalizing this structure. I think we're coming towards the end of this structure. And even if it does take a little bit more time, right? Even if it does take a little bit more time to the end of summer, okay, to August, September, I'm totally fine with that, because I think that this is going to be the last portion of this bottoming out structure before at some given point we do see Litecoin start to make this rally to the upside, eventually clearing 114 to 100 and of course $24, opening up the door to a beautiful move back up to 400 to 500 bucks. And so because of that, in my opinion, I think that this is now the time to start looking to accumulate Litecoin if you are trying to get in and average in, because we are towards the bottom half, of this consolidationary zone, but it seems as if we're towards the end of this consolidationary period for Litecoin, the one that we've been in since 2022. So I think this is a beautiful time to be buying Litecoin. And guys, I actually will remind you, most of these cryptos I'm talking about today, you can buy on CoinW in my link down in the description below. And if you do, you'll get up to $30,000 in rewards, which is absolutely ridiculous. And the best part about it is that you don't have to KYC, meaning you don't have to give them any of your personal information. You can literally just deposit funds, start trading, and get up to $30,000 of rewards. So don't miss out on that. That is a ridiculously good deal. Make sure that you do take advantage of that down in the description below. But moving on over to AVAX. Now, AVAX is in a very similar position as Link. I bought a lot of Litecoin, by the way. So medium purchase on Ethereum, big purchase on Litecoin, small purchase on Link, small purchase on AVAX. And the reason why it's a small purchase on AVAX is because it did get rejected off this 618 to 786 zone. And usually when that happens, we come back to try to find the higher low before we try to, push into this zone again. And so because of that, it seems as if AVAX could be looking to establish this low rather soon. Maybe not necessarily here. Maybe it has to come back a little bit lower towards $23 before finding it. And that's totally fine. I just figure now we're getting towards the end of this little pullback before we do at least try to make another break to the upside. In terms of price action, it might take another few months, but in terms of price action, I don't think we're going to go much lower than we already have. And so because of that, I have started to just barely pick up a little bit of AVAX. I honestly expected a little bit more from AVAX personally, because it does so well when Solana does well, and Solana's just doing a lot better, right? Solana's recovered a lot of this, whereas AVAX hasn't really, which is a little bit odd and a little bit weird, maybe even a tiny bit concerning. And so because of that, I'm not buying a lot, but I do think it's time to buy at least a little bit, because again, we maybe are putting in some type of cup and handle pattern, or maybe we're just going in for the higher low continuation, something like that, that although it could take a couple months to make this happen and make this pan out, buying in and starting to accumulate on this little zone isn't a terrible idea. So I just wanted to add a little bit to my AVAX bag, so I bought a tiny amount, the smallest amount out of all of these. I bought some DOT, okay? I bought some DOT because I think that DOT is starting to create its bottoming out structure, and I think we're in the second half. Generally speaking, what we can see is that DOT had this previous point of support, right? Boom, this one right here. Then what happened is, of course, we came all the way back down, we lost it, and we worked our way back up to recover it right here. Now, bam. What that says is now we have a previous point of support, now flipped into a resistance. That becomes the key zone. This becomes the key level. What that then generally means is that DOT is going to try to do something like this, okay? It's either going to go in for the double bottom. It's either going to go in for the cup and handle, something like that. This is almost always what happens. It's kind of like Litecoin, and I think it's following the Litecoin path, right? Where we have something like this. I think that's similar to what we're going to see from DOT here, okay? In which we're going to see this, we're going to see this, we're going to see DOT's price come back down and either establish the higher low into the continuation or come back for the equivalent low. I do not think that DOT's price is going to go lower than $3.50. I just don't see why that would happen. I can't wrap my mind around why it would go lower than its bear market low. And so because of that, I do think we are going to find the higher low. I think we're going to look to use that higher low to retest $10 and hopefully use this $10 level to break us back towards the upside and hopefully see DOT reclaim 27 to 30 bucks up here. And so because of that, and because of the fact that I do think we're going to find a higher low somewhere soon, knowing that as soon I actually did go in on a medium size accumulation and pick up a decent amount of DOT here, because I think again that we could see that reversal rather soon. Maybe not right now, right? It might go sideways or down for another few weeks, another few months, but I think inevitably we're going to see something like this play out. And so that is what I am doing, in preparation. I am picking up a little bit of DOT here. Phantom, looking at Phantom here, what we can see is that I actually did pick up a little bit of Phantom. The reason being is because Phantom did put in this double bottom, boom, boom. As you can see, maybe that's what DOT does, right? Maybe DOT, this right here, ends up looking something like this, right? Boom, boom, whatever. But the reason that I bought a little bit of Phantom is because we did have this double bottom. We had this MLR mid-level resistance, and we're seemingly trying to flip this MLR into some support. We're trying to hold it now that we broke above it, and it's doing a decent job here, right? So although it's no guarantee, and we might see Phantom's price continue downwards and look for the higher low and then look for a continuation there, although this is a possibility, it's a very strong possibility. I like the fact that Phantom is holding some support on top of this previous point of resistance, and so because of that, that's a good enough reason for me to do a small purchase on Phantom, just adding a little bit more. But you guys know I did buy some Phantom toward the lower side of this double bottom, so obviously not buying a ton right here, just a little bit on Phantom because it does seem interesting to me. Okay, a little bit forward, we're going with Polygon Matic. Polygon Matic has been one that's been outperformed a lot this year. It's not really giving us the best performance in 2024, but I do still have very high hopes for it, especially considering the fact that we are seeing it still in this sideways consolidationary channel. It didn't have a bad performance during the bear market. It really just went sideways during the bear market, but it seems as if we could be seeing Matic still put in this massive ass bullish structure, this bullish flag, and I do think one day we will break out of it. I still do think that we're going to see a $10 Matic one day. That's just my personal opinion, and so because of that, obviously looking at this thing, you know, even if we're heading towards $7 towards the upside, that is going to come with some type of breakout of the structure, and I think that that breakout could be coming somewhat soon if the market does pick up, especially towards the end of this year, the middle of this year. And so obviously with that in mind and thinking that that's a possibility, I am definitely picking up some Matic while we are towards the bottom side of this structure. This was a medium-sized purchase as well. Now, lastly, I did pick up a little bit of Jupe over on Solana, of course. Reason being is because Jupe gave us a beautiful performance, especially last year. The last little cycle that we saw in which Solana was absolutely running towards the beginning of this year, going crazy. And then we obviously did see that inevitable pullback here for Jupe. But the reason that I'm buying it is because we did see Jupe get this 60% correction, and that's normal for a crypto of its size. They don't usually get much worse than that, right? You don't usually see a crypto go down 60%, recover up a little bit, and then head down another, boom, past that 60, causing that a 70%. Not at least in a bull market. And so because of that, although I don't necessarily know if this is the bottom, right, we could see something like this form where we go a little bit lower. It does seem as if the bottom is rather close here for Jupe. I don't see it going much further. I think it is, strong enough to maintain that momentum. We're seeing Solana's ecosystem do well. We just saw meme coins pop off again, bringing even more liquidity to the Solana ecosystem. And so because of that, although I am more waiting for Jupe to break this 123 level before I do big buys, I did pick up a little bit of Jupe here, expecting that we could see this thing bottom out and look to continue sometime toward the middle to the end of the year. So overall, that's my last technical accumulation. And then the very last accumulation that I did was actually on VSG. You guys know VSG is a layer 2 that we've been talking about a lot here on the channel. They actually had some really decent news recently in which they could possibly end up on season 2 of Killer Whales. Feel how you want about it, good, bad, whatever. I didn't necessarily like it, but at the end of the day, publicity is publicity. They are within the top 3 to possibly be voted to go on the season 2 of Killer Whales. Of course, that'll be the next season, which is basically a TV show where projects go on and pitch their companies, kind of like Shark Tank to crypto whales, whatever. So anyway, I thought this was pretty interesting news. It has caused a lot of hype and momentum, and a lot of people are talking about it in the chat. And because of that, that's one of the key things, but obviously that's one of the parts of the reasons as to why VSG's price has been so sustained recently. Even after that pump, it's come back down, found a lot of stability, found a lot of support, constantly putting in higher lows. And so because of that, it seems as if VSG is on the right track still. And, its overall total performance is absolutely outstanding. It's astonishing how well it's done. 422% still up since its CoinMarketCap listing a few months ago, still doing over $1 million in 24-hour volume, absolutely smashing it for a crypto only a $16 million market cap. And so because of that, I did add a little bit more of that to my bag today as well. So overall, those are all of my accumulations. Just as a quick little recap here, okay, we had VSG, we had Ethereum, Chainlink, Litecoin, Avalanche, Polkadot, Phantom, Matic, and Jupe for the accumulation for what I picked up over the last 24 hours. And so if you did enjoy today's quick update video, kind of showing you some of the things I am doing behind the scenes in terms of my own portfolio, please do let me know by smashing the like button on this video. Of course, subscribing to the channel if you are new. And of course, I cannot wait to see you all next time. Peace out, everybody.